Okay, so a lot of my Blender stuff at the moment has been actually to feed my other hobby that I'm doing at the hobby interest is writing articles for these two magazines. Pixel Addict is the one, and the other one is Amiga Addict. And these are both magazines focusing on retro computers. So you'll see with some of the stuff that I've been doing is feeding that thing. So the very first, it's an older thing, which I might have shown you guys before, is I've been modeling an Atari 2600 console, but I wanted to model it hard surface modeling, which I haven't done for a while. And I wanted to get it to, well, one, to be accurate, and two, to be able to do very good close-ups and not see that it's a 3D model. So as you can see here, I mean, there's no textures or anything on here, but you know, you get your proper fillets or chamfers around the edges of which you'd naturally get with plastic. There's a little bit of a shot further back. I think at that point I hadn't done the underneath part. This is a little bit later where there is an underneath part, which I think is this. I subsequently found out after modeling this, because this is, I've got this, so I sit here with a ruler and I just measure it. So, but Atari went and made multiple different molds for the Atari 2600. So mine's a very specific version. So, you know, it might be nice actually in the future to actually get the other versions and then do morphs. So this object will be able to match whichever version. I'm also modeling the inside, you know, so you can do sort of technical renders and stuff like that. Anyway, the last time I worked on that was 2020, so that's how long ago that was. A more recent project is modeling the Intel 4004 chip, which is the first commercial microprocessor that came out in 1971. So this was, it's not finished yet. I've still got to put some scratches and stuff into the gold, or the brass, whatever they used here. I've got a clip of this, which is so you can see the floor. I started to use geometry nodes, and I don't know if any of you are experimenting with it, but I found with geometry nodes, as soon as I learn something, because it's so fresh and new, you go there and they've gone and changed the infrastructure of how things done. So yeah, but it's a very I mean, I think it's going to outdo what Cinema 4D does in a very short time, in terms of that sort of you know, for motion graphics, it's just going to be amazing. So yeah, so that's I still haven't decided what my final lighting and all that stuff for the magazine will be, but it'll be that chip. And then lastly, what I've been doing, and this has been going on for years, but I always come back to this. I've been trying to accurately recreate a CRT experience on a flat panel display, because with a lot of old computers, part of how the intrinsic design was that they relied on the fact that a CRT monitor's analog output and natural bleed that you got from a gun hitting phosphor and lighting up and creating a blur. You don't get that with these flat panel displays, and you don't get the glow that you get. So there's sort of a lack of light. Anyway, so I've been trying to recreate that as much as possible. And this is my very first attempts. This is all in After Effects. So there you can see the shadow mask. I'm just trying different shadow mask sizes, and I'm breaking an image down into red, green, and blue. And that sort of natural spillage that you would get. For some of you who remember CRT monitors, that happens there. And then I just did this yesterday for the magazine, a future issue. This is the output, raw output of a VIC-20 computer. So this is 568 pixels by 284 pixels. And the actual active area here is, a lot less than that. You wouldn't see that back in the day when you had a VIC-20. It never looked like that. There was often a lot more detail because of the natural blurring process of a CRT. So this was the result of my image manipulation. So you can see the image is a lot bigger now, but I've managed to get the sort of more organic nature of pixels blurring. And then it's not perfect yet. I'm sure I'm going to be going through a lot more stages to get this to be a little bit more accurate. The only caveat with this has all been done in After Effects, and I actually want to move my workflow across to Blender, because I think with the Compositor Eevee and the texturing engine, I think a lot of this will be able to be done a lot quicker, especially for iterating. And sort of the After Effects is great, but the algorithmic, with geometry nodes, a node-based type environment is going to be better for doing this type of image processing. So those are my 3 retro projects that feed my other retro hobby. And that's me.